Yo, what's good everyone? I've legit been sitting there for like a couple hours struggling to figure out how I'm going to introduce this video, you know. Bruv, I guess it's just hard for me to reiterate how important that... just roll the credits there, whatever. Yo, what's good? It's your boy Premier. Alright, so in this drills episode, I'm gonna give you a basic task to complete using iteration. And then after, I'm gonna go through my solution with you. Okay, so if you did the erase drills exercise, you know that we outputted the 12 times table. But as you remember, the code was mad long for only 1 times table. And I did state that we can redo this in under 10 lines of code. So we're gonna do that. Sorta. So I want you to create the 1 to 12 times table and then output the data in the following format. Now, it doesn't have to be colorful and pretty, as you're still going to be using just a basic text output, but just follow that kind of layout. But you have to use iteration to solve this problem, and you can use any iteration construct that you choose. Alright, chill. So go on do it. I'll give you a little time to get done. Alright, chill. Did you give it a go? If so, don't work. Let's go through my solution and compare how you did. Okay, cool. So if you're relatively new to coding and you take a quick glance on my code, you may be like,
bro, what? My code looks so different, what the f?
It's calm, don't worry. The dope thing about coding is that you can express your ideas in any way, shape or form. So anyways, first and foremost, I wanted to make that little top bar thing. The top bar that says the index of the times table. So I looped from 1 to 12 and outputted the corresponding number. I also placed a tab in between each of them so the spacing is predictable. Oh yeah, remember when I said it's good practice to start your loops at 0, yeah? The rule isn't set in stone, you don't always have to. Especially when it becomes more of a hindrance to do so than a benefit. But at the same time, it's good practice. So anyways, after that I outputted a couple of new lines for clarity. And then I move on to actually calculating and outputting my times tables. What you're seeing here is called a nested for loop. It's basically for loop inception, a for loop within a for loop. So what this means, yeah, for every iteration of the outer loop, the inner loop will loop 12 times. And also, because the loop is within the loop, the array index I, this one, is in the inner loop scope, meaning that it knows about it and it can access it. This means though, you can't create the inner for loop and give its loop counter the same name as the outer for loop. Bruh, the computer will have no idea which counter you're talking about. But as you see here, because these two loops are not in the same scope, it doesn't matter. If you're still fully baffed, don't worry. We're going to talk about scope when I cover functions. So when nesting for loops and you need to name your loop counter, it's normal convention to name the outer index I and the inner loop's index J. And if there's another loop within that one, that index will be named K. Any more than that is usually a design flaw. As Leo said in Inception, that's too many dream levels, man, or for loop levels, whatever. So the outer loop I use to output the sidebar index of the table. And then in my inner loop, I calculate the full times table for the outer loop's index. So for example, when the loop starts, the outer loop's index is 1. It will output 1 and then a tab. And then with the inner loop, it will loop through and calculate 1 times 1, then 1 times 2, then 1 times 3, then 1 times 4, etc. until it finishes the 12 numbers. And then it creates a new line and the loop starts again, but this time the outer loop's index is 2. And it will do this for all the times tables up to 12. So let's run this. Alright, so as you can see, you have the indexes on the side and at the top. And inside the table are all the values for those indexes. And it's as simple as that. Okay, calm. So you may have had a solution that's completely different. And let me reiterate, yeah? It's calm. Don't stress about it. Coding is about self-expression, finding your own ways to express your ideas in code, and in addition, learning from others. So you may be wondering why I didn't use an array to store the data. And my answer is because I didn't feel like there was any point. You see, the data is not going to be manipulated by the program in any way. It's just going to be outputted. So I felt that it would be a waste of time and memory to store the data in variables or in an array. And lastly, yeah, remember in the array exercises episode, I said you can implement the same exercise in under 10 lines of code using iteration. Now that's what I want you to do. Make sure you use an array though. Yeah, I know, I'm fully contradicting my previous statement.
For whatever, it's for education, innit? Chill.
So yeah, check out the episode and implement the exercise using iteration. Try to complete it in under 10 lines of code. I did it in 6, so try to beat or match that. The next episode is selection, so stay tuned, yeah? Have fun, keep pushing, see you in my next episode. Peace.